now in the position to start the cranial nerves themselves. Let us start with the first nerve, that is the olfactory nerve. Olfactory nerve. This is the nerve that is responsible for the sense of smell. This is very interestingly, this is the nerve that is the receptor in itself. In most of the cases, you see the nerve getting impulses from the receptors. In this particular case, the olfactory nerve is also the receptor. Here in the black, you can see the olfactory nerve. These are present in the olfactory epithelia in the roof of the nose and the superior concha of the nose, and it is bipolar cells with the peripheral process acting as the receptor that are protruding out from the mucosa, and the central processes, the axons that are moving from the mucosa to the lamina propria and between the openings of the cribriform plate and going into the olfactory bulb that is present on the top in the anterior cranial fossa. Only this part from the mucosa to the olfactory bulb, this small part is the actual olfactory nerve. This is the olfactory nerve, and that is why this nerve is very vulnerable to injury whenever there is a fracture of the base of the skull, including the cribriform plate. These are the first order neurons. Olfactory system, olfactory sense is a relatively primitive sense, and it does not follow that the same schema that we usually find in the other sensory systems. So the second order neuron, the next neuron that we encountered is the shown in the blue here. That is the mitral cells, and there are small number of fibers that are uh, synapsing on the tufted cells also. If you have to remember one thing, you will remember mitral cells, the blue ones. These cells, they synapse with the olfactory cells, and their axons, they move on to the higher brain areas, and the bundle that is formed by the axons of the mitral cells, these are called the olfactory tract. This part is called the olfactory tract. There are some other cells in the play also. These include the tufted cells also, and there is a glomerular cells also, periglomerular cells also. There are some other cells, but you have to remember the mitral cells. And they go, and there is a whole I'm not going into the much detail about where they are synapsing in the brain, but just memorize the primary and the secondary areas. The primary areas are starting from the letter P, the pre-amygdaloid, pre-piriform areas, and the secondary ones are going to the entorhinal areas. So these are the different parts. Olfactory area, olfactory nerve, it is related to the sense of smell, and any lesion, any effect to that will lead to anosmia. That's all about the olfactory nerve that you really need to know. And one more thing, yes, this is one of the nerves that regenerates very quickly. Usually, the nerves, cranial nerves that do not regenerate. However, this is the nerve that regenerates quickly. Any injury, they usually they do get replaced